Hey everybody, it's AdmiralNewkirk here, and I'm going to be giving you a cast now of Whitera versus Happy. I know I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Excuse me. Sorry about that. I just had something caught in my throat. So now, Whitera versus Happy. Could we pick two more fun players to watch? Happy, of course, always opens Cloaked Banshee, and Whitera is just a cool player. I mean, he's just awesome. He has a really good RTS mind. He games a lot, and he is just really solid in every area. Whitera beat MC in PvP in the Team League, and I mean, really, you don't really can find any fault in Whitera's play. He can rush with the best of them, and he can macro better than almost anybody. So really, Whitera is just a powerhouse, and arguably the best European player. I mean, Jinro's a good European player. Thorzane, my boy, the next Terran great in my opinion. This guy Happy's pretty good. The Muslim's pretty good, but Whitera is certainly in your top three players in Europe. Happy is sort of a newcomer. He doesn't really have a lot of, I guess, notoriety, but he is on Team Empire, and so that's good. And we're just fast forwarding to something interesting happens like right about now. That is a bunker rush versus protoss, which one doesn't see. I actually think this is just a bunker to block the expo, which is pretty clever. Proxy pylon here, so it looks like Whitera will be doing some sort of gateway pressure, or he's just putting it down there because it's a good place to spot things. It lets you warp in, and now we're seeing Marine versus Zealot micro. Happy not known for his micro. Happy just known for, and the reason I was so excited and the reason I wanted to cast this is first off because it's from a dailymotion tournament. For those of you who don't know, dailymotion is like a video hosting site, and it was sort of YouTube before YouTube. Before YouTube was dailymotion went up about 3 months before YouTube, and it doesn't really have the same size or panache, but it's a French, imagine it's a French version of YouTube. It's like Maxime, alright? It's cool in French, so we're just gonna put that out there. Oh, good, a probe actually getting in there, pardon me, an STV. So the Dailymotion Open is, I believe it's an all-European tournament, at least, I think so. I only saw European players. So this is Happy, a European Terran of incredible consistency, versus Whitera, a European Protoss of incredible consistency. So we're going to see a cool game from a lot of different perspectives and angles, which should just really be a lot of fun. Whitera opening 3-gate Robo, arguably the most safe opening. 2-gate Robo can stretch you a little bit thin from pressure, and it can force you to wait for Colossus tech. While 3-gate Robo, although not letting you get Colossus up as much, does allow you to either pressure with Immortals or use your, or just get out enough units to actually be useful. Happy here doing his trademarked Cloaked Banshee opening, and I defy you to find a bump in Happy's play. I just defy you. It's not perfect mechanics, it's just intrinsic understanding. I already went over this. Meanwhile, Whitera moving out with his oh-so-scary army. If you guys notice these new tabs, I love them. So, Control R, workers killed, look at that. Happy has one more worker killed. It's awesome. If we go to like the minerals, oh my god, look at that. That's slightly higher. Army supply. I like this a lot. I always had to do the math before, and now I don't, so that's cool. Well, we'll just stick with the name tab. I mean, this tells us a pretty big story. So Happy continuing to get out his Banshees and moving them across the map, and Happy's Banshee micro is perfect. You can't pick somebody better at Banshee micro than Happy. He just gets it, and he's never far away from a ledge with his harassment. He's great with drops and Banshees. He's never far away from a ledge, and you're just gonna see him pick off a couple of drones and then run back home, and he's just barely out of range of those stalkers. We have an observer coming in, and we also have a probe posted outside Happy's base. Happy likes to get an early Raven. Do this versus Protoss. I'm not going to say this is like a good play. I'm just telling you, get a Raven versus Protoss. Point defense drone, neuters, stalkers, phoenixes, cannons, which is pretty much all the Protoss anti-air.
And so if you can, oh my god, look at that control. Just now he is sandwiched right here, and it's just a little bit scary. But generally we don't see Happy lose a Banshee, like, ever. So an early Raven, it both lets you deny scouting, because think about this. Besides observers, what scouts do Protoss have? None. Like, Terran have things like, I don't know, Reapers, Hellions, Vikings, that kind of stuff. Protoss has hallucination and observers, and nothing else really. And you'll notice Happy has actually been using this Banshee to deny Protoss his expansion without even denying it. Happy gets his up, and is going to have more workers there faster. While Protoss, because of this Banshee, because of the constant pressure felt, he didn't want to split his forces, and so therefore he didn't feel he could protect both expansions at once. And so then Terran gets his expansion up faster. Why, if we look at the income tab, pardon me, that's the mineral tab, army size, there we go, units killed. Happy has killed a lot more stuff. But if we just look at the income tab, even though Protoss is on more harvesters, Terran had his expansions saturated more faster. So that shows you just how effective map control can be. Happy appears to be very close to dying with those Banshees. Meanwhile, back at Happy's base, you saw that instant switch from the Raven to the Viking. One thing about Happy's play is it's all very tight, and it's all very distinctive, but there isn't a lot of originality in each match. It seems like he figured out something that works a lot, and he just kind of does that a whole lot. And these Banshees are actually a little bit faster than the Stalkers just a little bit faster. The Banshees are faster. And so, because of that, the Banshees can just barely escape. They might actually have the same speed, I'll check. The Banshee has a speed of 2.75. The Stalker has a speed of 2.95. The Stalker just barely faster. And with this Raven, all of a sudden, you're denying Protoss all his scouting. And so he could research Hallucination 11 minutes into the game. But why would he do that? Because that's stupid. And really, then you are allowed to sort of tech in peace. And Terran should be getting his third expansion up before the Protoss. Let's open the production tab. This is my favorite tab. And look at that. Happy doesn't get a lot of upgrades, which I'm not a fan of. Happy doesn't yet have Concussive Shell, but does have Stim and Combat Shield. This is a very good ratio of Marines to Marauders. He's getting early Vikings because he knows Colossi will be coming, because this is Whitera. Whitera likes to get just a few sentries early on and then go mass Colossus. And it's really hard to beat. Generally, you have to use drops or some other method of maintaining map control and forcing your opponent to come back and defend. Happy, as I said, he doesn't have the best production bar right now. Happy's actually supply blocks, huh? But only for a moment. Happy getting a lot of little cheap probe kills and then just running away. He's very, he has a lot of self-control. Because normally with those Banshees, you're just going to want to I just want to get one more kill out of them. He's very willing to pull back, which is a hard thing to do. And you feel like, I'm not doing any damage, but you're doing more than enough damage. You are affecting the outcome. Happy doesn't actually have all that much stuff. That's another trademark of Happy's play. He controls really well, and he tends to win, but he never actually has that big of an army. I mean, look at that. That's 10 Marauders. 5 Marines, 4 Vikings, and a medevac versus huge fucking Protoss army. Happy, as I said, just now getting his engineering bay. I don't actually like this. The Protoss is deciding the rocks are not in service to iron, and this will therefore be destroyed. Oh, the rocks sliding through the zealot there. And Happy doing a nice little nice little small force use here. And again, continually being active with these Banshees. He's not making too many of them, although actually mass Banshee is really good. He's not making too many. He's using them. He's extending their use so far. Meanwhile, back in Whitera's base, he's just doing everything extremely well. He has 6 gateways, a Templar Archives, and robotics. That's a really good ratio, along with 2 forges. I like that a lot. And oh, just now, oh, good boy, Whitera, just getting his upgrades super fast. Meanwhile, back in Happy's base, Happy not getting his upgrades, appears to be just going for turrets, but he does have the Ghost advantage. Now, Ghost EMP is amazing, like in every way. I
I'd rather take a Psy Storm, but an EMP is not bad, and an EMP does remove a lot of the effectiveness of a Protoss army. One thing I've noticed about the Protoss army is Protoss units are bulky. Like, just with the amount of screen they take up, they don't have a lot of small units. Well, Terran units are all really small. And so, therefore, you have what looks like an amazingly large army for the Protoss, fighting what looks like a really tiny army for the Terran. I mean, look at that. That looks really small. When, in fact, they're roughly the same size, just because Protoss units are so bulky. Stalkers and Zealots and Colossi all take up a lot of space comparatively, while one Marine takes up no space at all. Happy does not use his factories for a lot. I'd like to see him at least scout with it, or I really don't know. I just like to see him use it. Happy is behind in upgrades. Another characteristic of this play, he doesn't get a lot of upgrades. So a player like Thorzane tends to make me a little bit happier there. Get it? Happier, haha. But this is another thing with pros. Use the 3 Terran structures that I think are most unique. Those are, of course, the sensor tower, missile turret, and bunker. I mean, just put like a bunker over here, and put a bunker over here, and a bunker over here. Then you hold the watchtowers, and you can cut off everything. And if you put up a bunch of sensor towers, what are people going to do about it? You can come down to snipe the sensor towers, but you're going to see them coming. Whitera here using the, oh, for some reason he morphed all of his stuff into Archons before the Archon buff. I don't really know that. But hey, he's Whitera. He has the benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, Happy has a pretty good army. I mean, no slouch. If he can get off a couple of good EMPs, this thing's dead. Good. 2 more Dave the Marines over here. Just, yeah, he's not making an expansion. He's definitely not expanding. Happy getting the Mobius reactor. Cool little looking upgrade. Let's actually look what the Ghost's gun is called. The C10 canister rifle. Cool. What was I gonna say? The Archons, Psionic Shockwave. That's a pretty good name. Side blades. Medevacs don't actually have an attack. Ooh, what are the Banshee? Oh yeah, backlash rockets. I know that. I believe these guys shoot Lancer torpedoes because they couldn't afford lasers. So they have to go with the off-brand. New from Mattel. Lancers. All the fun of lasers with only half the burning. A good scan there to reveal nothing. Throws down a PDD and a couple of amazing EMPs. Wow, he's just ripping through those armies. And now look at this. Without the Colossi or the Archons, thanks to the EMP, the Terran army of Marine Marauder Medevac can absolutely rip through these Protoss forces. Protoss forces are a lot of support units, and so therefore they don't have any core units, and Terran forces are all core units. So therefore, when the Protoss army gets split up, when you focus fire individual portions of it, then the Protoss army loses a lot of effectiveness. If you kill all of the... every Protoss unit is specialized except for the Zealot and the Stalker, really, but those are both in themselves support units. Meanwhile, the Terran army is just kind of all-purpose. So, if you kill the Colossi, all of a sudden you've killed all of the DOA. Same thing with the High Templar. Then if you also kill the, what do you call them? The Archons, all of a sudden they have no DOA. Or, if, for example, you're going Thors, you can use the Marines to focus the